Hey guys, here's my GoPro Hero 2 camera, which you would have seen now quite a lot of footage of. So after having it for about 5 months, I'll do a review on it. This is just for the camera only. I'll do the motorsports pack a different day on a different video. But this is just for the camera, and I can soon review it for you. Right, so let's see. Let's take a look. Right, you'll notice that you got a light here, and just 2 buttons to operate the whole thing. You've got your SD memory card slot here, which these happily sit in, like so. Like that. Bit tough, but it does sit in because it is sprung loaded. We've also got a HDMI 1 port there, a HDMI 3 port, I think that is. I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't actually used it at all. You've got a TV out cable, the USB connection, and a microphone input. Right. For some reason my microphone's gone missing, so I can't show you that bit. But what I can show you is the charge. Hang on. I have plenty of USB leads. This is embarrassing. I'm going to take this USB lead. Right, this is not the lead it comes with, but it can be charged with any USB lead. This is a Sony one from a camera. Right, you can stick it in through the top like that, and before I've even pushed it in, you'll notice that the charge light comes on. Now, when the light comes on like this, it means it's charging. This light has quite a few functions anyway, so let's just take this out and go back to what's quite important is to how to turn it on. Very easy to turn it on. There you are. Now, that says no SD card in there, so you can't record or anything. Right, now, what you'll notice that there's no beeping and there's no flashing lights or anything, and that's because I switched it all off. If I go into options, like so, you press the front button until you get to the options bit. You then press the top button, is your OK, and then you'll notice you got the record mode. If you press the front, it should switch to the next one. Then you got the frames, the resolution which records in. It's now at 960 at 48 frames per second. This is what this is the motorsports setting. You have several frames per second settings. So you got, if you just bring this in closer to my camera, you can't really see much. Hang on, let's see. I bring this in, this light in. No, it's not really doing any difference. You can't really see because this doesn't light up. But I'll just go through it if you can't quite see. I can't see through this camera. So you got 960 at 48. It is actually quite hard to read, so you'll have to have a good eyesight if you're trying to set this up right. You got 1080p 30 frames, WVGA at 60 frames, WVGA at 120 frames, 720 at 30 frames, 720 at 60 frames, and 960 at 30 frames. The 960 is 4:3 setting, whereas like the 1080 and 720 are both full HD, both widescreen. What is it? It's 960 4:3 standard, but it's in HD still. Oh, I meant to click OK on top of that. There we are. A little bit complicated, and it's a little bit complicated, but other than that, it does exactly, work. You then got the FOV 960p wide. It's only in wide. Basically, you can sort of change it for some of the settings. This is for the camera. The camera settings set at 11 megapixels, but you can reduce it. So you got 11 megapixels wide, 8 megapixel medium, 5 megapixel wide, and 5 megapixel medium. So just keep it 11. It doesn't matter because I don't actually use the camera. This is the, you can set the automatic timer for this, which is set preset at 2 seconds. Oh, I've gone, oops. Let's go back to it. We can set at 1, 5 and whatever, it's like that. It doesn't really matter because I don't use the camera like I said. Up, down, don't know. Oh, up, down, basically you can flip the camera lens. So you can, that's standard way, but if you press the other option, you can still sit it, you can then sit it that way, upside down, but it will still then reflip the image for you. Basically this is for the 3D case that you can get, where you have a camera like that and another camera like that. Right, so we want to keep it up. This is the flash mode, or the spot it's called. Off, on. I'll put it on for now. One button. I don't know what the one button does, I haven't used it. Then you got the more options. You got delete. Wait, wait a minute, I can't. You got the NTSC and PAL. Actually, I should set that. I should set that at PAL. But the program that I also use is actually set at NTSC and doesn't work with PAL. So you got on-screen display, which is on, and then you got the LED, which if you notice you got 2 and 4. And this is the amount of flashes it does when you press record or you turn it on. You also got the audio, which I'll now switch on. There you are. Now we've got the sound on. Now you've got the turn off never. Basically, if you press stop, this will automatically shut off after a certain amount of seconds, and then you can set your date as well. So let's go back into exit. Right, we've got no SD. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll put this in. There we are. Now the camera comes up. Right, now it displays the frames per second, the wide mode, and how many, if you can see there, it says 00. This is the amount of recordings it's now taken, and it's at 0 at the minute. You'll also notice there in display here, it says 59 minutes and 51 seconds. This is the amount of recording time remaining on your SD card. If you put a 32 gig in, which I do use instead, it will take up to around 4 hours almost, 4 to 4.5 hours. Then you've also got the battery status here, right? Now, on about the battery should last up to 2.5 hours, depending on the settings. 2.5 hours is usually based on the 720p setting, but I use 960, so it goes down a bit more. Also, when you're using it cold, it massively goes down. In fact, when you're using it cold, it can go as little as about 1 hour 15. But other than that, I think that's the only problem with this, is that the fact that the battery isn't quite big enough for, it won't quite last long enough, so maybe GoPro should just work on the battery a little bit. Other than that, they've done quite well actually with this camera. here's one final thing that you wouldn't probably know, is that these cameras are actually used by pretty much any recording crew, like the BBC or Channel 5 or whatever. They use these all the time. In their cars and when recording wildlife and stuff like that, simply because of the ruggedness of these. They don't use the actual camera, they use the camera with the case, which I should just try and find. Where is it? This is the battery that also comes with it. Now this one's a spare one I bought. You can buy these for just £10, so it's not like they're mega expensive to replace. I would suggest you always go and buy one as well when you're buying one of these, to buy a spare battery. Simply because, I mean, as time goes on, these will get made redundant. You know, the more out to date these go, the more expensive the batteries go, and you don't want to, you know, want to go out and go and buy a new battery. This is the case it usually comes in. This is the standard case, the standard waterproof case that always comes in. And that's it. That's it for your money. Yeah, that's all you get usually. Oh, if we just look at the case as well. If you notice these, the camera can still be operated from the outside using these buttons. See? And these are metal buttons, so they're really quite nice actually. It's really good feel. And this is really special because it means when you smash this bit here, the lens, it doesn't matter if you smash the rest of the case up, is it? You can just replace the lens bit, apparently. And this is also made out of glass, not plastic, like the rest of the case. And then you've got the seal here, which makes it fully waterproof. I'll test that out one day, because I've never submerged it underwater. I'll test it by submerging this underwater without the camera in, of course. Right, let's go back to this. I'll have to wrap this up very quickly because I've got about 2 minutes left. Record time on YouTube. Right, I'll just press record. You're not going to see this bit, but you can go and view my videos, see how good the quality is. Right, as you're going along, this now flashes, and when you press stop again, it stops. You also got a camera mode now. I'll there you are. Oh, it took the picture of the roof. Right, because it's set to 2, you can hold it. So if I just put it over the battery. Now, this is the only problem because there's no screen at the back, which is an additional extra at £69. You can't view what you're taking a picture of. Right, I'll put this on the same video, so you can just view it in a minute, view it right now. And there we are. So, and final review is the series. This is for action shots, and it takes a series of 10 pictures all in one go. Ready? I'm going to move it from here. You're just going to view a bit of my... I'll do it again. Ready? For God's sake, work. Hang on. I'm resting now. Ready? Go. So you might have seen a bit in my bedroom there now. Right. Thank you very much for reviewing this. And I hope you for the GoPro Hero 2, and I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any more questions, just leave them in the comments. Okay, bye bye.